The after show.
Nope, that's the wrong one.
And the show's
It's
over.
Hey, folks, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. This is the shortest episode in the history of Caching in the Northwest. We started off with the after show. But more than that, it's the official podcast of GeoWoodstock 18 right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Each week, we're going to talk about caches and cachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're planning out this year's Airing of Grievances, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
Well, I would say it's time for something, but tonight, I don't know. I mean, jumped into the after show thing. Let's just go ahead, though, and say that it's time to bring in our slippery simian. Some say he has 72 pairs of pink bunny slippers. And others say he claims to have invented the two-legged stool. He has a sample. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
I heard that. You tried to slip that in. I heard that, you silly guy. And yes, I was counting. Actually, that's not entirely true. I have 73 pairs of pink bunny slippers. I got a new pair just the other day. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm working towards 100 by the end of the year.
So there are some who say you have 72, and they would be wrong.
They would be wrong. Yeah.
Well,
73
at least
now.
72.
Well, actually, no, they'd be right because I have 73.
You
so I also
have
have
72.
72.
Yeah.
Wow. This is a really important thing for us to talk about tonight, eh?
Absolutely. This is what happens when you start with the after show.
Yeah. Well, amongst the other things we're going to talk about how much we appreciate the support of our patrons. And of course, that includes Landsharks, our corporate Denali level sponsor, and all of you guys who support us. We appreciate it. You help keep this podcast coming each and every week. And, special news bulletin here from Landsharks. They say that Canada Post has shared that the deadline for shipping packages across Canada is tomorrow. Now, if you're listening to this podcast and you download it and you're listening to it, that deadline is long gone. So start shopping for 2021 Christmas. But if you're listening live
or start shopping for a time machine
or that.
Yeah.
If you're listening live, if you're part of our live audience, well, you know what? Tomorrow's Friday. You can still shop online with Landsharks Friday and probably get that gift there on time. But, one thing that never goes out of style are gift certificates. And you can always get those online as well from Landsharks. So there's another option there. And Landsharks also has reminded me they have only 4 copies of the geocaching guidebook to Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley left in stock. They have them in the store. So if you wanted to get a copy of that, well, you can get that from landsharks.ca as well. All right.
I'll hold out for the second revision.
All right. Yep.
I'm going to hold out for the movie.
Well, that comes out once a month. Anyways.
Oh.
Hey, if you want to know more about supporting this podcast, just go over onto our website and click that Patreon link and you'll get our undying appreciation as well as some other stuff.
Ooh. I like
Other
other
stuff.
Yeah.
Like glows. We need more glows. Hey, folks, we need your glows. Yes, you right there in the car, walking down the street, doing dishes, baking, whatever you're doing, we need your glows. What is a glow? What's a geocaching log of the week, of course. So whether you read it or whether you wrote it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. You can send an email or a field recording. We haven't gotten many of those, but they're out there in the field. You just have to find them recording themselves. Send that to feedback@cachingnw.com. Of course, you can call in to 253-693-TFTC and leave us a voicemail and show us how you glow.
I'm still trying to picture somebody walking down the street and baking.
Easy bake oven with a long extension cord.
There you go.
Battery power
That could work.
with an LED light.
Because that would work much better.
How about a solar oven?
There you go.
We could do that.
Ooh.
Oh, heck, who knows? Let's just jump into the glow. And this week's glow is from ShareBear64, who found traditional cache out on a limb. Actually, I don't know if they submitted the glow, but they're the author of the log of the glow. And they say, during my week-long visit to Virginia, this was our third T5 with Team Gandalf. And here's my checklist to prove I earned them all. Large bruise on back of left knee. Bruise cracked ribs on upper left side. Included an urgent care visit for pain meds. Scrapes up the right shin. Strange rash on right wrist. And the coup de grace, a large goose egg on my forehead, just steps away from this cache.
Careful, caching can be dangerous.
Yeah. They add, my son-in-law sure puts the hospital in hospitality. And then they go on to say, update, it's official. A nasty case of poison ivy. At least 4 in our party got it. This was my very first bout, as I had previously always boasted an insensitivity to the dreaded urushiol oil. I can't say I'm not allergic anymore. After a harrowing adventure to get here via the easy way, and let me just say, that's never as easy as you think it's going to be. We at last arrived at this shore. It was very steep, seemed like 45 degrees, with the most slippery mud encountered yet. After watching Cyber Elect, I think, slip all the way back down from near the top, I decided to play it smart and use a shoreline tree to pull myself up the steep and slippery slope. I had grabbed a small but strong branch and had pulled myself over halfway up when my feet slipped out from under me. My body twisted counterclockwise, rotating me around my left arm, which was still holding the branch, until my back was to shore and I was facing the river. At that point, my grip gave out and released the branch, which was basically a cocked slingshot that immediately catapulted right into my forehead, knocking me on my butt. A galaxy of stars accompanied me as I slumped back down the slope and into the water. My hand shot up to my forehead, which was now sporting a lovely robin's egg. Egads.
This better be a really, really good geocache.
Telling you.
Sometimes you have to earn the smiley.
I think it was Team Gandalf saying, you shall not pass, or something. So they say, grateful that the branch had missed my eye, I made my way to ground zero, where the group spotted the bison right away. Normally, I would insist on at least touching the container myself, but for some reason, I was content today to let my son-in-law retrieve the cache and sign my name. Perhaps I felt I had already earned my T5. Perhaps I wasn't sure where I was. I think I got all the protocol concussion questions correct. What year is it? What's your name? Who is president? The last one garnered a huge laugh, but I'm pretty sure I answered it correctly. This one gets a fave for me for the adventure and the great company. Team Gandalf says it's not an adventure if you make it back with everything. My friend GSM times 2 says it's not an adventure unless blood is drawn. Today we covered both. Definitely an adventure.
Wow.
ShareBear64, I think, has been on the show, or I did a Geo Gearheads with her.
Okay.
It's one of GSM times 2's friends.
After that, I'm not sure I want to go caching with GSM.
I don't know if he was on that trip, so you might be safe.
Okay.
It's ShareBear64 you may not want to go geocaching with.
True.
But wow. I mean, there are days like that.
Yes.
There are, and hopefully they're usually far and few between, but glad that ShareBear64 is doing well enough to still be able to send these out.
Right?
Wow. That's right. Oh, hey, folks, if you want to join in tonight's conversation, use the hashtag AL. That's short for Adventure Lab. We're not talking about your Uncle Al coming to Christmas dinner that you never really invited him to anyway. You know that, Uncle. Yeah. And there you go. Don't go geocaching with Team Gandalf. He's the
okay.
There you go. The truth will out. Or at least, history is written by the victor. So
wasn't Team Gandalf mentioned many episodes ago for a geocaching, when you ask somebody to marry them, proposal.
Oh,
That's
possibly.
what I seem to remember.
Could be.
Not sure.
Anyway, if you have a question, there you go. Please use the hashtag Al in
Wow.
tonight's chat.
Yeah.
You can call us Al
Yeah.
just for tonight.
Yeah. If you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long lost pal. I can call you Betty. Betty, when you call me Al.
It's one of my favorite songs.
It's just a catchy little tune.
It's a catchy tune. It's one of those that, always
And
puts
it's
me in a good
upbeat,
mood.
it's positive. Yeah.
And it's got Chevy Chase in the video.
Yeah.
And, how can you go wrong, right?
Exactly.
And they mentioned me in there.
Oh, Jim?
Yeah. Mr. Beer Belly. I don't find this stuff amusing anymore.
All
right. Any news tonight?
We got lots of news tonight.
Bring us back on course, Line Monkey.
Let's do that. Hey, for you Washington State listeners, we've got some great news. You may already know this because I think it happens every year, but it is time to announce State Parks free days for 2021.
Yay.
Now, this is specifically for Washington State Parks, but I think other states follow suit. I'm just not sure what the details might be, but hey, I'll tell you what.
There's several similar days.
Why don't you share with us on social media the free state parks days for your state and or province, and we'll promote that as well.
But Parks Canada do something like this.
Parks Canada has on a couple of days a year, but not this many. This is pretty cool. So Washington State Parks and Rec Commission is offering 12 days of free access this year. On those days, you will not need your Discover Pass to visit the state parks by vehicle. The first free day is, as it always is, January 1st. They call it First Day Hikes on New Year's Day.
I've done that a couple of years in a row. It's fun. There are people out there, the ranger, I don't know what it's going to be like this year. Who knows anything, or next year, technically.
Can I roll the free days from 2020 over that I didn't use this year?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure they will honor that. Just write it on a piece of paper. I'm using one of my free days from 2020. Put it on your dash. I can't see anything possibly going wrong.
As a Team Gandalf said, it was fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, with the first hikes, there's usually a ranger there that's willing to, take you on the hike and bring up the interesting points. So, Starcasher said, yeah, exactly. Starcasher says Ohio State Parks are always free. They beat our 12 days.
Yeah, way to go, Ohio. Same with BC. BC parks are always free.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Second free day. On the second free day of Washington State Parks. I can't do that.
Washington State Parks gave to me Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Sorry.
Junior. You got to put the junior in.
It is important. Monday, January 18th. That's the next one. What's after that, guys?
Followed by March 19th, State Park's 108th birthday.
Ooh.
There you go. Chris?
April 3rd is the springtime free day.
Oh, springtime.
Next one's one of my favorites. April 22nd, Earth Day.
I noticed there's no cash in there.
There is when I do it.
Okay.
June 5th, National Trails Day. June is busy.
Mm-hmm.
June 12th is National Get Outdoors Day, or just Get Out Day.
Just get outdoors.
Yeah.
They don't like the band.
Yep. Yeah. That good choice. And the next day, so it's a weekend there, Free Fishing Day.
Ooh.
I believe that coincides with Father's Day weekend, if I'm
not
mistaken. So
there you go. Wednesday, August 25th. Oh, nice. Right in the middle of the week, there's a free day. National Park Service birthday. Happy birthday to National Park Service.
It's really close to somebody else's birthday, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Not Elvis.
Another 25th, the next month, National Public Lands Day on September 25th.
Then you have to wait until November 11th. Veterans
October
Day.
has no love at all.
Mm-mm.
Veterans Day or Remembrance Day, if you are honoring your Canadian friends, even though this is Washington State Park. So, and November 26th, Autumn Free Day. So apparently there are no free days in December either.
No. That's the days.
Where are the parks?
Where are the parks? Parks.state.wa.us/find a park.
Okay. You can go there and see which park is closest to you.
That's
or
right.
farthest to you if you just really want to go for a drive.
Yeah, that's right. And as always, there are some caveats about some of the parks and some of the accesses. So you should check the website before you go just to make sure. And as they always say on the commercials, terms and conditions may apply. Consult a doctor if your state park lasts for more than 3 hours. All right. So what else have we got going on for news?
I don't know after that.
New souvenir.
Souvenir, new country souvenir. GCHQ has released a new regional country souvenir for the Bahamas. Come on. We all know the song, right?
The Bahama Mama. Oh, wait. That's different.
That's delicious.
Bahama Breeze.
Yeah, that's okay. That's not a bad restaurant.
Tommy Bahamas.
That works.
I don't think I've been there. Yes, I have. Yes, I've been. I didn't get a souvenir for it. So if you found a geocache in the Bahamas, you automatically receive the souvenir on your profile. And the picture on the profile or on the souvenir will be a blue hole. Now, let's dive in. You've heard about black holes, but what about blue holes? A blue hole is an underwater cavern known as a sinkhole. The world's deepest salt or seawater blue hole is Dean's Blue Hole in Turtle Cove of the Bahamas, Long Island. That's different Long Island.
Yeah.
It's a staggering 663 feet or 202 meters deep, and it's the home of their geocache of the week.
Is it at the bottom of that blue hole?
That's where the geocache is.
Yeah, that would be a
crazy deep.
That would be like a T12 or something.
Yeah, no kidding. 200 meters. Wow. Cray. All right. Well, that is all pretty cool. Pretty cool. If you're wearing your Tommy Bahama shirt, can you get the souvenir? You know what? GSM times 2. I say yes. I think absolutely you should. So I think what you should do is take a selfie in your Tommy Bahama shirt and send it to Rock Chalk and say, "Where's my souvenir?"
That's right.
And let me know how that turns out.
Yeah.
Fun. All right. Hey, Keats 94 is already jumping into the topic here. He had a hashtag AL question or comment, I should say. But we will segue here. We're going to start talking about Adventure Labs. And Keats has brought up one of the things that many of us have been asking about, and that is when we're going to see the Adventure Labs on the geocaching map so that we can, not have to switch between apps, or at least not have to switch between apps when we're planning where we're going to go.
Yeah.
We know Brian Roth teased that it should be coming, but we don't know when. So.
Yeah, that will be so nice to be able just to see them there. Brian Lang says he said Brian Roth. I'm sorry, Brian Roth. I can't get the whole. They get stuck in my head.
A lot of Brian's.
At HQ said early next year. Well, January 1st is early next year.
Yeah,
It
right.
is indeed.
Time's ticking away. All right. So that'll be nice when that happens. It'll be interesting to see how they instrument it. Obviously it'll need to have some sort of unique icon. The one thing I'm a little concerned about is I look at the density of Adventure Labs that we have in the Metro Vancouver area now, and I'm thinking, boy, I'm going to want to be able to filter those on and off the map because that's just going to be a mess.
Well, you can do that and again, I'm assuming that it's going to start with the geocaching app, but will it then go, will it be part of the API to feed out to all the other geocaching apps? I hope so. But
you would think it would need to be.
yeah, even with the geocaching app, you can filter. You can say, no, don't show me those.
Right. Yeah, you can do the filtering, but it's just like when you do have everything on, it's just going to be because
How's
at
that?
least with the sorry.
How's that again?
At
Hang
least
on, I'm going to type that in.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, wait, no.
Don't worry. We'll
Well,
get in the subtitles. It'll fill that in.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking with the 160 meter radius rule, you tend to get at least a little more separation. So, or the 500 foot rule, whatever you want to call it. But yeah,
520.
Is that what it is? 520 feet.
523.
Komakino's got it. Komakino's. It's that's how it's written out.
Oh,
Okay. Thanks.
I knew I could count on the chat.
Don't
There you
filter me, bro.
Um,
Cats. Oops.
yeah.
528. Thank you, Komakino. You know what's scary is I haven't had to worry about that in a long time now because nobody's placing caches, it seems, and you don't go out and find as many as I used to. So I've kind of slipped.
I think the game is still pretty active. It's I mean we talked earlier in the year about the number of newer cachers who were joining the game and getting into it, which is great. And certainly, switching back into our topic for tonight, as I said, there's been a lot of adventure labs. I don't know. I honestly don't look at the map anywhere outside of my own area since nobody's really traveling anywhere these days. So
Right.
I don't know what your guys' area, sort of the Tacoma, Seattle area looks like. The last time I remember looking at it was in the spring. And it was fairly well populated, but I don't know. Is it getting pretty like lots and lots of ALs down there? Or?
Not so bad. A lot along the coast, along the shoreline, but
Okay.
not so much in the middle. So
What do you mean when you say in the middle? What area?
not along the coastline.
So like when you start heading
Well,
out to like Snoqualmie and stuff?
Yeah. So Tacoma is a triangle, right? With water on the top two sides.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Bottom side is still Pierce County, but Puyallup and that. And you notice that the adventure labs tend to be on the shoreline sides.
There you go. Water on two sides.
There you go.
So I was going to say, I wonder if we can show an adventure lab map.
Probably.
Anyway, but it tends to be along the water and not so much in the middle, in the land. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. Cool. Some interesting chat coming up already on this. So a few things. If I roll up to GSM times 2, commented an idea. He says if they make the icons the same size as the regular icons, they won't overwhelm the map. And I'm going to jump down to something else he said, which I thought was really interesting here. So it's a good point. I hadn't thought about it this way. He says if you count how many adventure labs are in a 50-mile radius, or let's say 50 kilometers if you're Canadian, of home, and compare it with the number of geocaches in the same area, there's really not that many. And that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I think it's just, for me, the visual is because the app for Adventure Labs, the way it views, the default view of it on your phone, and just the way it interacts, it just looks cluttered. You've got to really zoom in on that map for it to start looking like it's not quite as messy, because it's really hard. I find the default view on the map, and this is the other thing, and I think Kitty Quest made a couple comments about it here, but here says the map will be cluttered. I don't really mind switching apps and maps, and I like this next point. I'd like to see a way to hide found adventure labs on the adventure lab app. And I think that's the main thing for me when I'm looking at the app. And it gets, I've done a bunch of them. Maybe I've done a quarter of the ones that are up here, but they're still on the map there. And so it makes it, oh, there we go. Thanks, Chris.
So if you're looking at, the Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia area, it's pretty dense.
Yeah.
Right. If you zoom in, here's here's Tacoma here.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad at all.
Ours, I feel like ours is maybe a little denser than that. I don't know.
And there's Seattle.
Yeah. Very cool. Look at this fancy technology Chris is showing off.
What do you mean? It's an iPhone.
Pretty slick, man. No, not the iPhone. The ability that those who are listening to the audio would not have been able to appreciate, but the fact that you were able to actually bring your phone up on the screen and show us, and then you minimized yourself down on the screen, kind of like a gamer doing his live stream would do.
Let's see. Komakino says, and I agree, as we just looked at the map, have the colors change when found, please.
Yes.
Because both the found and the unfound Adventure Labs are green. Yes, one has a check mark in it, but you know, when you get this many, it's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
CRS 98 says lots of new caches published in West Seattle last week.
Ah, okay, there you go. Another great piece of thinking here from Wet Coaster. He shares that he'd like to hide his own AL as well as those he's found, and I think that's also a great point.
Yeah,
you can be finding your own. Therefore, why do you need to see it?
There's no filter at all, is there?
No, and I think that's what a lot of people are getting at here in the chat, is that there's just no real filtering options on the Adventure Lab app. So
it's really pretty basic.
it is, and so I'm hoping that with this, this early 2021 stuff that's coming for Adventure Labs that Brian Roth has teased, that we'll see not just the icons are now available on the geocaching map, but a lot of these enhancements that many people have been asking for.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what else.
Lots of feedback here. What do you got?
There you go. I
am says we looked at the Phoenix area, and there were only 3 or 4 Adventure Labs in the area. Once the lockdowns are lifted, we hope to go visit family. We were surprised how few we saw.
Yeah, that's not many. I would have expected more for a major area like that. What else have we got here? Keats 94 agreed that shrinking the Adventure Lab icons is a good idea. Yeah, they're pretty massive on the phone. And I think, again, when there was only a handful of them around, it's fine. But now that the map's starting to get pretty dense, yeah, I think that's another great suggestion. What do you jump on? Whichever one you're going to jump on.
There it is. Starcacher says, can you find your own adventures? Can you go through them and log them?
And Chatlack, you saying yes, you can.
Yeah. Interesting. I haven't done that to mine. Maybe I should go find mine.
I know you can choose your own adventure, but that's different.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Every time you play.
Every time.
And there was something else. Wet Coasters, the one right at the bottom of the chatter. Yeah, it's a great question. Do Adventure Labs count for country and state or province souvenirs? I do not believe they do.
I would think they would, because I mean, a find is a find, is it
they
not?
count as finds, right?
Interesting. Well, if somebody knows, I would love to find out.
Well, I think Peach just answered that, didn't he?
Oh,
well,
yes.
Maybe. Or
this is a different question.
This may
I think everybody's answering.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions flying there.
Can you find your own?
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, a GSM times 2 is saying they do not.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. Thanks, guys.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
Always helpful.
I would have thought they would.
I didn't know. They're kind of funny. There's some things they count for and some things they don't. So like if you were trying to fill in your calendar days, so you're just looking at your stats calendar and you want to see the finds in there, I do believe they show up there. But there's a lot of other stats that I don't think they count for. They just don't show up in those other stats.
MC3 Cats has a great question. What's a general thought about finding your own adventure lab? What does everybody think about that? I immediately assumed you couldn't, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't log your own cache. So why could you log your own adventure lab?
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd want to.
I don't know why you would want to. I mean, I guess it's 5 more fines, but I don't know. I haven't gone and found my own because I don't see any point in doing it. I would rather go enjoy the experience other people have created for me.
Mm-hmm. I think Keats puts it well. We're in the early steam age of era of adventure labs. Enjoy the pioneer life. You know, I'm thinking more of a bronze age.
Oh, maybe he's being generous, but yes, it's that's a great point, and I think that's the thing. Like, there's lots of opinions and advice, and that's really what we wanted to talk about tonight, right? Shared opinions and advice, things that we found. So, I mean, I just released a video yesterday morning, with some of my thoughts around adventure labs and what I found makes them a little more enjoyable. But everybody's got a different perspective on it, right? And that's okay. One of the things that I have found really interesting is some of the creativity that people have been putting into the adventure labs, because when they first came out, we were all kind of had our head in the space of, okay, it's a electronic tour guide, so we're going to and so we were trying to find interesting places to bring people with them and try and be interactive about the area we're bringing and teach things about the area we're bringing, and take that perspective. But then I've seen some other people try some different ideas with it. Sometimes it really flies. Sometimes it doesn't hit the mark. But what's cool is that people are trying different things. And so I think, to Keats's point about us being in the pioneer age of adventure labs, that's the point, right? I mean, they are still a type of lab cache, so we should be trying different things, seeing what works. And what does it cost you in the end? Time
and some electronic bits.
Yeah. Electrons.
Wet Coaster says, finding your own AL, why is that handled differently than your own regular geocache?
Great question. I mean, it's kind of, there's a different engine that's handling them. They're not reviewed, and there's a lot of caveats around it. But I think in principle, it's probably best not to. But again, you can, if you want to, go ahead, find your own.
Yeah. Archibald Asparagus says, find your own adventure labs. Stop being so silly.
It's Archibald
Asparagus. That was a good poll. Yeah. MC3 Cat says you can log your own event.
Yeah, but that's different. And who remembers even what events are anyway?
Yes, sometimes too says I choose not to, but that's just me.
There you go. No, some really good points. And yeah, there's so lots of different opinions. I think there's a lot of people are weighing in on there.
Interesting.
What's up?
In the old days,
you
know, that's even before the before times.
The before times,
yeah.
When you could log your own caches, as I understand it, that was standard practice in Florida.
What about Ontario?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. MC3 Cat seems to agree with IHAM. Not right to find your own. And IHAM's impressed you got the reference.
Well, yeah.
Well done, Wits End.
You were surprised. Okay, so Keith says, I accidentally found my adventure lab. Apparently he lost it. I thought I was doing a test on it, just an old adventure lab newbie right here. So interesting. Okay. That happens. Fair to do a test on it.
Yeah, I know at least one other person who was trying to test their own, and they ended up logging it. And they're like, what? Okay, well, how do I unlog this? And it's like, well, you kind of can't, but
archive party.
Yeah, archive party. There you go. Well, speaking of which, Dora Moore shared Her thoughts about Adventure Labs. She says they're messing with her hide count on her profile. She has 1 multi, 5 events, 2 mysteries, 1 Earth cache, and 11 labs for a total of 10 hides.
That's
So
right.
I'm trying to.
So all the labs count as one?
So each lab.
Each location.
Well, it sounds like
1, 6,
all of the labs together count as one
9,
hide.
10. So yeah. So just the fact that you have done anything with Adventure Labs counts as 1. Yeah, that's weird.
Or maybe that's 3 in binary. Never mind.
Well, that makes much more sense then.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Now I
Might explain what the computers are doing in the back end. Oh, too funny. All right. So guys, you've done some Adventure Labs. What are things that you have enjoyed when you've gone out and done somebody else's Adventure Lab?
I do appreciate a good story.
Okay.
And the work going into it, more than just, okay, hey, you made it here. Great. Now go, to this location. Well, tell me why this location was important. Yes, it's a tour guide-ish.
Yeah.
But I believe they're starting to change, just as geocaches do. They're starting to evolve and take on more than just, great, you made it here. Off you go.
So when there's so this is something that interests me. When there's a story written in there, when there's lots of, say, great information, somebody spent a lot of time researching, very carefully crafting and writing up a very interesting storyline. They've perfected the story arc. There's lots of great content in every one of the 5 stages. Do you read them?
Okay, here's what I found out. If I'm with a group, I don't.
Okay.
If I'm by myself, I do.
Right on. Okay.
Okay. With the group, I feel like I don't want to delay the group by taking the time to read this. Okay, we got it. Good. Let's move on to the next one. But by myself, I'm like, I want to know what, I want to know why you brought me here. What's the history of this?
Right.
So it depends on the situation. Now, if the whole group is stopping to read it, of course I will too.
Good old situational ethics.
Yeah, exactly. But
Jim, is it the same approach as Chris?
I've only done 1 with 2. They were right on top of each other because Chris took me to them, and I didn't really read them because Chris and I were chatting. But in general, I like the tour guide aspect kind of idea, and I do find most of those things interesting. I tried, whether it's Adventure Lab or Geocache, I try to read the signs, and after dragging 8th grade kids across Washington, D.C., I found that I didn't get to read as many signs as I wanted to. So the kids are like, cool, next.
Yeah.
The adults are like, I could spend the rest of the day right here in this museum.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I've had the privilege of visiting Washington, D.C., which I'm sure is a place where there's probably tons of great Adventure Labs.
Probably, yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I want to go back. There's so much more to see and discover there. So I totally get that point. But I asked the question because I find myself sometimes I read them and sometimes I don't. And I guess it always sort of just depends on how much of a hurry I'm in. And I try not to be in a hurry. And I want to appreciate the work that people have put into this. But it's kind of like reading the descriptions on geocaches. Like, I would imagine most people aren't going to invest the time to read your Adventure Lab descriptions. I think it's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
So I got advice when I created mine that in the very first paragraph of the description, let them know how many stops it is. Yes, mine is sequential, and how far it's going to take you and how long it's going to take you to do this. Right? So that there's no surprises of like, oh man, this thing's still going. Now we got 3 miles to go to walk to the next one. And mine was very short. That's why I made it sequential. So you would, step through. I mean, it takes you from the parking lot right back. So, but mine tells a story of, I chose the Chinese Reconciliation Park when, in the 1800s, if the Chinese workers that were brought here built the railroad, the locals, which I considered the Chinese too, but the Tacomoans said, "Oh, there's more of them than us. They have to go." So, if you jump in at another part, the story kind of falls apart. So,
while we've been talking about this topic, the chat has caught fire, and there's some amazing discussions in it, and I don't want to miss them. So
please.
I want to make want to jump in on some of this stuff. Thinking I'm not sure how far back up I'm going to need to go here, but
well,
like
you talk to Rox says, "I love the holiday decorations at the bottom of your panels." So.
Thank you, Rox.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and kudos to my colleagues. I'm riding on their coattails for that one. But there was okay. I've gone way back up here. Here's what I think kind of kicked off part of this conversation within the chat, and it's good old GSM times 2, getting things going here again. He says, in my humble opinion, I think GCHQ released Adventure Labs to test the waters. They didn't expect them to be so popular, and they weren't really ready for prime time. I think that sounds, yeah. And Komikino says sounds legit, and I would agree. I think that sounds like very likely what may have occurred here, because they really did catch on, and they've been handing them out a lot, and there just isn't that same level of, let's call it, governance or oversight that you have with any other type of geocache. There's no reviewing process. So it's a little more up to the community, letting people try things out and do things. And, I can't remember if it, and maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on this. A lot of other things that HQ has done, they've always had that caveat of, we're going to let you try this. So, and I'm thinking things like the augmented reality caches. So we're going to let you guys try this and go and put one out. But we might yank it. So just be aware that we might just say, nah, this isn't happening, and pull it at any point in time, or not, or, within 3 months or something like that. They keep using that caveat. I can't remember them giving that caveat with the Adventure Labs.
Well, Adventure Labs existed in the before times, but I really think 2020 has influenced HQ giving us more Adventure Labs, right? Because there's something you can do that's truly contactless, right? You don't have to touch anything. And I think that's been a lot of it is 2020. It's a unique time. So, Geocaching HQ is kind of rolling with the times and giving us something to work with that we can do.
There you go. Keats had another great comment. He said he remembers asking about history caches a long time ago on this podcast. A number of people have brought that topic up over the years. And he said perhaps Adventure Labs are the history caches he's been looking for. And I think that's a good way of looking at it as well, Keats.
I know I've talked about that several times, bringing up making a history cache, much like an earth cache, right? Something that is vetted and monitored. It's going to take a lot of work. And, well, maybe if you don't monitor it, it doesn't take a lot of work. Kyle likes the historical aspects.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Sorry. Go.
Okay. I'm gonna promote you, Mr. Caching of the Northwest, Chris of the Northwest. MC3 Cats said he likes the fact that Adventure Labs take you to places that you have not been before. Not all are like that, but he said, as an example, Chris of the Northwest's Adventure Lab on the east end of Tacoma waterfront took him to some areas he didn't know were there.
He didn't know was there.
Yeah, he said there's a bridge that goes over the park. You would never know the park was there unless you were a local and you were aware of the park. So there you go. Very cool. Also, GSM times 2, to the point I was making and asking the question about reading the descriptions. He says, I work hard to discipline myself to read the description and acknowledge the effort it took to put the Adventure Labs together. Not reading the description is the TFTC of Adventure Labs.
Yeah.
I like it.
I
That's
think that's true.
well phrased, GSM times 2.
You know, I really considered in my Adventure Lab to put the answer, 3 paragraphs down in the description. Right? Because you're going to have people that's not going to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And go ahead, try to answer it.
Yeah,
if you don't read it. And I thought that's just, petty. I'm a petty man. Keats also said Adventure Labs have obliterated multicache finds from my stats. The poor multicaches were sitting at 4th place behind the cool kid named Al. Well, and when you're getting 5 or 10 finds per Adventure Lab, yeah, it's going to obliterate a multicache, which is 1 find.
Yeah.
Right? No matter how many steps it is.
Yeah. Starcaster had a similar similar feedback about how Adventure Labs affect your stats. And he was saying Adventure Labs before about 2018 wreak havoc on his tracking for a pyramid challenge. I logged them days after I did them, and GSAC counts them when I did them, Project GC when I logged them. This screws that day's find counts. And I have had a very similar experience, Starcaster. I know exactly what you're talking about. And it does mess up between how the two systems track your finds for those days. So yeah, that can be a little annoying for sure.
That's interesting because, I almost consider Adventure Labs as something completely different than lab caches. Yes, it's, the same idea, but the mechanism to log them is different.
Okay.
Right. With the lab caches, yeah, you had to go to a web page that had some sort of funky HTML compass on there, which usually didn't work for me. And then, had to put in the right code from, wherever you were. And yeah, I think it worked. But, it's very different.
Yeah. Another good technical question about Adventure Lab. So if I don't know the answer off the top of my head, but anybody who does know, Doramore asks, can you go back and watch videos that are in the location descriptions or only the ones in the journals? We know you can go back and you can see the stuff in the journal after, but can you also go back and see if someone's embedded videos in the location descriptions, or can you only see those when you are within the geofence zone? That's a great question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why don't you answer another one? Oh, well, here, I have to do this.
Test it out.
I have to do this from Seabeck Tribe because she agrees with me. So I get to read. I also thought of putting part of the answer in the reading part along with that at the site. And, maybe if I get a second one, I'll do that. Just to see
who actually reads it.
Yeah. It's a test.
Yeah. Seabeck Tribe also added, you can always go back and read the Adventure Lab later if you're in a fast-paced group. So that's a good point. But I really like the fact that a lot of folks are saying, somebody put some effort into this. It's probably worth taking the time to read the descriptions. Yeah. So I like that we're hearing that. I think that's great. It's a good community attitude.
No, you can't. You can't. All I can see is the journal.
Oh, okay.
So the journal is the second part, right? The second text.
That's for one that's for one you've completed before, or one you haven't. Oh,
one I have completed.
That's interesting because Gearhead is saying I think you can watch the videos anytime, and Komakino is also saying that you can go back to the Adventure Lab page and watch the video on it.
Maybe everybody can, but Chris.
Yeah. I'm in the app.
So maybe it's only on the page where you can go back and watch it.
Well, it could be.
Komakino did specifically say page and not app. Yeah.
You can. Okay. So you have to go. Here's how I found it. Now I don't know if this is the only way.
Okay.
And
so through the app?
Yes. Seabeck Tribe has it. You have to go to the map, then click on the dots from the app. And then when you click on the dots, you can look at the description.
This is why we have the best live chat
Yes.
in geocaching.
I'm telling you.
You guys are
exactly.
awesome. Thank you, Seaback Tribe. And thank you, everybody. All of you guys. I'd have to name everybody in the chat because you've all been throwing out great content tonight. We're probably going to have to start wrapping the episode up and move into an after show because it's there's just been so much. Well, clearly we're going to have to continue talking about Adventure Labs some more because it's a hot topic. We know there's more changes coming. We're obviously all passionate about it, and we want to learn more and we want to do better things with these. So I think it's great.
Yeah. Guys, you've been fantastic. So GSM times 2. Thank you. Said, I've changed my location description to make it easier to find the answer. If you read the description, for example, the description says, look at the monument. The answer is a reference. The answer is reference a plaque.
Nice. There you go.
Mm-hmm. MC3 Cats tutored me, guided me, mentored me, in saying that, when you put down when you put the answer in, tell them what type of answer. I'm looking for a 2-digit numeric answer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's nice.
Or spell out the number, or I'm looking for, I'm looking for 4 words. Sounds like.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, why don't we run through our wrap up stuff here, and we'll start by thanking our listeners, I guess, and start getting ready to move into the
I know, guys. Can you believe next week is Christmas Eve?
That's awesome.
That's scary that it's here already.
I can't wait for 2020 to be over.
Oh boy. Unless 2021 says hold my beer.
Yeah. If 2021 says hold my beer, I'm getting a whole lot more beer. I'll just tell you that much right now.
Means there's like 8 days left before I start shopping.
I'll talk about something in the after show.
Okay.
So next week we've got a surprise for you. It's a little Christmas surprise, and we really hope you enjoy it. And then 2 weeks out, guess what? New Year's Eve. Should we do the podcast from 9 o'clock to midnight? A 3-hour podcast. Everybody stay awake.
9 Pacific till midnight Central.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it. We'll figure out what we're going to do.
Fine. You guys are no fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's my.
You're not the first one that told me that.
At that rate, it won't be the last one.
That's right.
But I'll tell you what we will do is we'll take a moment to thank Landsharks, our corporate Denali level sponsor. Landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online and check them on outline. They ship online orders daily. And remember, as we said earlier in the episode, you got one shopping day left to get it shipped to you. So
you got one shipping day left to get it shipped to you.
That's right. All those things. All right. Sorry. And we want to thank the faithful Denali level supporters, Landsharks, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, and Cashley. We also want to hope that Chris survives the next couple of moments here. He's still alive. That's good. All right. Hey, if you want to know more about supporting this show, click that Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website.
Just like
Kid Vegas 19
and you talks to rocks.
LG 9000.
M Nerve.
Billy Robson.
Alarobrick.
Whitos Seattle.
Keats 94.
Broncos fan. For life.
Dora Moore.
Limax.
Wet Coaster.
Seabeck Tribe.
Sprouter.
Donners.
Segehove.
Hackerduck.
GSM times 2.
Just finding our way.
Oh,
Thanks, Bill.
thanks, Captain Kirk. Fairwood West.
Trexer Zero.
Subway Mark.
B. Pendragon.
MC3 Cats.
Logwork.
Kev MacD.
Tick-a-magnet.
On a boat.
GeoNav Pros.
Green Words.
CRS 98.
Camp Clan.
T. Sayer.
Antaeus.
Team Noltex.
Kitty Quest.
Boomer 365. Okay, come on, that was all random.
Oh, considering that was randomly set up, couldn't have been better.
Kennel Barb.
The Geo Travelers.
And of course, Genies.
Of course. And thanks to everybody else out there for listening and playing along, and especially the people in the chat. If you're still trying to figure out who we are, well, he's him, I'm him, and that's him.
We're still trying to figure out who we are. So.
Just, you know what? Head over to cachingNW.com/hosts. That'll work whether you're listening to the video or watching the audio. And you can find all kind of links about us and find us in social and all that stuff.
Might have to turn that around. But
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Don't forget, you can be part of the show. Call into 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask a question, or send Land Monkey his 73rd pair of bunny slippers any time of the day or night. Of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website and subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. Give us a thumbs up or a very coveted review. This show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, and Jay Kennedy. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2020 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, I ask you, I beg you, I implore you, friends, neighbors, geocachers, lend me your ear. Stay tuned for... I got no sound tonight. I don't know what's going on.
Boom, 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 boom.
The after show.
There you go.
I went to use my emergency green phone and it doesn't show up. It's invisible.
It's invisible. It's like Wonder Woman's jet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
right.
up with an invisible jet? How did she get an invisible jet?
I don't know. How does she remember where it is?
Well, same thing with
That's a real question.
Star Trek when they landed the Klingon cruiser
Ah,
and
cloaked.
cloaked it.
Everybody remember where we parked.
There you go.
That's classic.
Yeah, and why aren't people freaked out by the sight of it? There's a woman in a seated position at 30,000 feet. I don't know.
Does it show up on radar?
Too
She
funny.
does, right?
Yep.
No.
On the bat radar
Oh yeah.
at the Hall of Justice
Yes.
with the Wonder Twins and their monkey. Keeping an
Wonder
eye on
Twin
things.
powers activate.
Oh,
One
man.
could become an animal and the other could be any form of water. Why do I know this? Because I was a kid in the 70s and I
Oh.
watched cartoons.
You know lots of stuff, but do you know how you track your order if you order a time machine? Ooh.
That's the question from GSM times.
Yeah, that's
2.
right.
That was delivered 13 years ago. What? Where?
I love it. That is.
Well, I was
that
going to
is a great
say Western Union was involved in Back to the Future, right? So
Yes, they were, weren't they?
yeah.
You would know better than I,
Yeah,
future boy.
it's you got to use that mind reading element.
Yeah, that thing doesn't work. That I can tell you right now.
Oh, gee, but did you ever release that for the patrons?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. That's fantastic.
The patrons got it first, but it's up on the Patreon page for anyone.
Oh, okay. So if you want to know what we're talking about, go to Patreon/CachingNW.
Patreon.com/CachingNW.
All right. And go check out this amazing video.
Land Monkey birthday video.
I was going to say, you can see what happens when Land Monkey gets older.
That is definitely worth watching. I mean, I keep going and rewatching that over and over again. I love that. You guys are so funny. All right.
Oh, here you go. Canada Post tracks parcels like that. In transit on December 15th, expected delivery December 14th before 8 p.m.
There you go. So Canada Post has answered the question for GSM times 2. How do you
Like
track your time machine order? Send it by Canada Post. Which may be a challenge if you're, in the US and sending it to somewhere in the US, but
it could be, yeah.
just have to route it through Canada. That's all.
Yeah, it's going to Alaska.
That's right. Just say you're going to Alaska. Yeah. Wet Coaster asks, how do I get a travel bug off the bumper of my car? I'm selling the car before I move back to the West Coast.
Can you just take the bumper off and swap bumpers?
There have been a number of suggestions. That was one of them. Too funny.
Oh, that is funny.
I think the core of his question, as I read through it in the chat, was that he's trying to salvage the sticker.
That was, yeah, I wondered about that because getting it off isn't all that hard, but getting it off so that it's still usable.
I would consider going to landsharks.ca. From what I understand, they will reprint travel bugs of different varieties. So I don't know bumper stickers, but you could get a new travel bug car thingy. Window cling, sticker, magnet, whatever you want.
Yeah.
There you go. I just tossed that in for free.
Or, you could just get a Sharpie and draw it on your next car.
You could get a silver Sharpie if it's a chrome bumper and color the whole thing out. Nobody will notice.
There you go.
If it's a black bumper,
blend right in.
With helpful tips like this, why would people go anywhere else? Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. With helpful tips like this, why do you need any other podcast?
Really? Yeah.
I mean, we just covered an automotive podcast right there.
Next, what's next? What's the next topic we'll cover here?
Oh, it's all about you. That's why you don't want to read it. Where was that awesome background image behind Land Monkey taken?
That one there? So
that would be, yes, behind you.
This is always helpful for people who are listening to the audio version of the podcast.
Now with descriptive audio.
Now with descriptive audio. Yes. Just for this moment, there will be descriptive audio. So the image that I have on the green screen, projected on the green screen behind me, is of the reappearing river on northern Vancouver Island. So it's from part of my 50th birthday adventure. One of the places that we visited.
Reappearing?
It is a reappearing river. So it actually comes out of a cave in that direction. It comes out of a cave and then flows in that direction down through the valley, like it's looking. So there's a hillside with a cave on the side of the hill, and the river just comes out of it.
And that's where it reappears?
That's where it reappeared, and is a disappearing river further north of that, the same river, where it disappears under the mountain.
I would hope so, because if it was just a reappearing river, that wouldn't make much sense.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It can't reappear if it didn't first disappear.
There you go. Oh, anyways, so there you go. That answers Keith's question. That's where that photo was taken, and I love that photo, which is why I have it as part of my background.
Mister says it sure looks like somebody had an archive party tonight and didn't invite the rest of us.
Oh, maybe our reviewers were removing caches up here. I'll have to go take a look at my email later.
Brian Lang says archive party complete.
There you go. Cleaning up the game board, as we
party
say.
of one. Just like the Red Green show.
There you go.
Oh.
They don't find you handsome, at least.
He must have invited all of his friends.
Wow. Ouch.
Okay, more mail. We're talking about things. At work today, a parcel came from Prince George to our facility in Richmond to be sent back north to Edmonton. Train track.
That doesn't seem efficient. Would have made more sense to take the Yellowhead Highway and just keep going east, but all right. Whatever.
I thought you were supposed to go west, young man.
Yeah.
Most rivers slow down, Land Monkey.
Most, but do all?
Land Monkey's 50?
Not the Nile.
It's in denial. Yes, Land Monkey's 50.
Was there an earth cache there?
There was an earth cache there. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I like that too.
So
what's that?
I don't know Kyle's geocaching name. So Kyle, hi. If you have a GC code on your bumper and you sell your car, the next owner may be perplexed when they return to their vehicle and discover a bunch of people taking photos.
Could happen.
Oh, that's too funny.
Just don't go to Ham Radio Outlet and capture that travel bug. Never mind.
Yeah, I think Kyle's caching name. There you go. I think Kyle's caching name is Zeppelin 94. Yes, and White Coaster says that's why he wants to get it off of there. Too funny.
You know what's beautiful? If Wet Coaster keeps that travel bug number, he'll be able to find the car.
That's true.
You track my car. Okay, there we go. At least the last time somebody said they saw it, it was at this intersection.
That's right.
Oh, let's see. Keats wants to know. Oh no, I'm sorry. Starcasher wants to know: does putting a Pop-Tart in the toaster count as podcast baking? Of course it does.
Sure, it
does. That's about all the baking skill I have, and now I really want a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
I'm craving my Stollen. I gotta go do that baking this weekend.
Yeah,
I'm gearing up to doing my Christmas crack.
It's after show. I could do the pretzel glasses? How about that?
Nice.
Yeah,
Looking sharp.
Yeah, you got to have the pretzel glass. I can't even talk. I can't even look at you right now.
You say that all the time.
You know, I don't know if I've ever said this, but you look delicious.
Those are awesome.
Yeah, never say that phrase again.
Okay.
Oh, too funny.
Let's see. GSM times 2.
Yes.
I don't think there was that far back, so I'm going to try to find it in the chat. Nah, it's too far back. If you do a 9 to midnight show, will drinking be involved? That could make the last hour interesting.
It could.
It definitely would.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could do a 9 to midnight show. That's a long time.
Donna's saying you better make that Stolen. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, I'm already trying to figure out how we're going to lob one over the border.
Wet Coaster says you need the matching beer glasses.
Well, yeah, they're a set.
Indeed. Yes.
And Roxanne says, is that a fake nose too?
Nope. No, just stuck with it. There you go. What I need is the like the stadium hat with the beers on it and the straws.
Yeah.
Nice. There you go.
Komakino says you're not drinking now.
Not yet. Wait till we get started, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is sober.
You do not want to be around when that happens. Oh dear.
Oh, folks, thanks so much for joining us. This was a lot of fun. You guys are great.
Yes.
And until next week, get out and get adventure caching in the Northwest.